I say good afternoon to everyone and welcome to Real Talk, Real Money with Dennis and Ian. As you can see, Dennis is here in his Jamaican colors. And with that said, it's all I got gonna be about track and field, and just gonna turn it over to Dennis, the great Olympian, to introduce our guest for the night. Hope that you guys will just sit back, relax, and enjoy. It's a brand new program. So, Dennis, welcome back from Jamaica, from your camp, Dennis. Welcome back.
Thank you. Thank you. Yeah, we are so privileged to have Wayne Watson. We want to welcome Wayne Watson, a true warrior of Jamaican athletics, a veteran sprinter represent Jamaica with pride. Wayne embodies discipline, resilience, and the heart of a champion. His inspiring journey from humble beginnings to elite competition reminds us that greatness is about the effort and the legacy you create, right? So this conversation that we're going to have, Wayne will discuss his athletic path and the mindset that drives him, right? There's so many things that we could talk about Wayne here today, but we just pressed for time. We know it's kind of late now, so we're just gonna start. Wayne, welcome and thank you for joining us.
Hey man, thank you for having me. I'm honored to be on a program.
All right. So we're going to talk a little bit about your background, right? Um, Take us back to your early days, right? How did your journey in athletics begin?
Hey, it's a long journey, but I started out back in the mid to early 70s. Was very asthmatic kid. My doctor encouraged me to say, hey man, it's better you start to run track or do something because it's gonna help you. That's when I decided, say, well, my grandma didn't want me to do it, but I go against her will because I realized I can run fast. So I decided I'm gonna try. I go out there and I run and I realize, hey, I was beating everybody. They take me to different championship, little school championship. I win everything. Sports day, I win everything. So that's when I realized I can really do something with this talent that God gave me. So then from my Harley school, I went on to Ferncourt. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
Ferncourt is where I get a good coach, Mancraft Passenger, and he shows me the way. Take it from there, take me to the boys championship. I realized that the boys championship, I was a force to reckon with. Back in them days, you remember we're from the country school, so the town school, them always make it look like, they're the biggest thing out there. But we go up there and we turn the table on them. So from that time, I decided, hey, I'm gonna take this to a different level.
Mhm.
After Ferncourt, Dennis Johnson asked me to come to CAS. He will give me a full ride scholarship. And I went on to CAS, and that's where everything began nationally, trying to make teams. The watchful height of Dennis Johnson. Uh, I don't know if you guys know DJ, man. He's the visionary. I mean,
Mhm.
when I went to him, he said to me, "I'm gonna make you run fast," and I didn't believe him, you know. But at the end of the day,
He did.
he gave me the vision. He gave me the vision and the things what to do. He said when he take me first, he said what he's going to do is teach me how to run. He said you can't take an athlete and just tell him to go run. He said you got to teach them how to run, teach them the fundamentals of sprinting and everything before you send them out there to compete. And he took a few years and he taught me the fundamentals. He did what he was supposed to do, and I did. I listened. I pay
Mhm.
attention to details, and I started to improve slowly but surely. And then in 1988, I stepped on the scene where I become a force to reckon with at the 1988 Olympic trials. Unfortunately, I didn't make it that time. They stopped my semifinals, pushed me out of it. I went to the 89 World Indoor Championship. Um, from there on, I trained hard. Went to the 1990 Commonwealth Games. We went to the Pan Am Games in 1991, the World Championship in 1991. 1993, we went to Stuttgart. All those were great experiences for me. But one of the things about me running track, it's always a passion. I realize, some people run track for the fun. I run it
Hmm.
because of the passion I have for track and field. You know, I just didn't go there and run until today. I don't run anymore, but I still have the passion for the sport. Some people, I still go out and train and run like I feel like I want to go there and compete. I feel like I still can compete. I know I can't, but I still try.
Right, right.
You
So
understand?
what were some of the standout moments in your competitive career? Those you will never forget.
I remember boys champs 1983 and 1984. Those were the telling moments because like I said, coming from the country school and come to boys champs, you're going up against KC, Calabar, all the big schools, and you know. I went there and I make myself known to them that I'm not somebody easy to walk over.
Hmm.
1983 Boys Championship kept at Sabina Park. I was in the semifinals in the 100 and I was in the semifinal in the 200. Didn't make it to the finals at that time. But 1984, with me, Raymond Stewart, Gregory Magoo, Heinz from Calabar, we dominate the 100 that year. I have a story about that. I remember 1984. They said they was going to take the first four from the boys championship and take us to the Olympics. They said, at that time they didn't have a trials. They have, they see who's running fast and put some people together. So I went back to front court training because they told me they're going to take me. Around there training, Mr. Mills sending program down there for me to work out. I'm there working out, think I'm going to the Olympics. Everybody in Center was all happy. Wayne make it to the Olympics. And then all of a sudden my coach keep calling Mr. Mills, he's not answering. He's not calling anymore, not sending any program. Then all of a sudden, I found out, hey, they took some older athletes, Donald Quarry, Albert Lawrence, Augustine Young, but they still took Raymond Stewart and Gregory Magoo from Boys Champs, the only two, and then take those big guys and just cut we off the team without any notice. So,
Hmm.
it hurt a bit. It hurt,
Not a
because
bit,
you
not
feel
a bit, not a bit. It hurts, and I mean,
it hurts. It
it
hurts.
hurts. Yes, and
You're down there training hard, everybody behind you, getting all kind of support. Hey,
right.
Wayne made the Olympic team, is going to the Olympics, and then all of a sudden they just drop you. Like, you know,
Okay.
1988 again. You know, I um I went to the Olympic trials and I was running well, but they stopped my semifinals and pushed me out. And just to show you how they did it, um, I finished sixth in my semifinal and won 10-3 something,
Hmm.
10:37. And Garfield Campbell from Camperdown finished third in his semifinal and won 10-7 something, but he make it to the finals and make it to the Olympics.
Yeah, yeah,
They stopped at semifinals deliberately to push me out. And Dennis
yeah.
Johnson, he knew that. And he told me, he said, man, they push you out. 1988, we created a team at CAS. It was CAS them days, not UTEC. Me,
Hmm.
John Mair, BFED, which is Robert McFarlane, and Michael Nevers. And we decided we want to know what we're going to call that team. And a guy came up with a bright idea. He said, we're going to call it the Bolts of Lightning. And he created, we said, all right, run it by DJ. DJ said, yes, that's so great. And we're going to make some uniform with the lightning strike across it. And everybody agrees. And that's when we go there and run the first sub 40 seconds
Hmm.
in the National Stadium from the local trained team. We run our first 39.7. And then after that, we started to run 39.39s. And that's what changed a lot of the history of track and field in Jamaica. A lot of people don't realize that. That Bolts of Lightning, you guys probably heard about it.
Mm-hmm.
The balls of lightning set a standard where Dennis Johnson was able to went to the IAAF and have some sponsorship to sponsor the team to keep our local athletes in Jamaica to train them there because our local athletes used to always try to go to America. They feel if they come to America, they'll run fast. In other words, we give it America the glory. We are giving America the credit that they're the ones, helping Jamaican athletes to run fast. When we have good coaches in Jamaica that can do just as well. And that's
Mm-hmm.
when GC First and all these other schools say, hey, they're going to step up their game. They're going to start to do things differently and to keep our athletes in Jamaica. The IAAF decided to sponsor Jamaica based on what the performance from the Bolts of Lightning. And
So it
that's where
is.
it
So it is fair to say two things here that Jamaican athletes have been performing well from like umpteen years ago. That's number one. Number two, it is also fair to say that the those people who make the who are given the opportunity to make the selection for national teams have been doing these injustice for it's not just new, it has been happening for years and it's still
for
continuing.
years, for years and years, from even Herb McKenna them days, you can hear them say things about the way they were treated. Donald Quarry from back in the 70s can tell he have a lot to say about it. Um, coming all the way up into the 1980s from Merlin Hattie, Joe Cuthbert, and all these people who has represented Jamaica at the highest level. These people has done, they are thinkable, but are not recognized the way they should. Well,
Mm,
yes, Merlin, accomplishment gave her OJ, which is three people in Jamaica that really get that. Merlin Hattie, Herb McKenna, and Usain Bolt, which is a great honor. I
mm.
know Merlin gave up hers for a different country, but wherever she is, she's still, what I mean, a legend for Jamaica.
Yeah, I want to kind of step back a little bit. You kind of touch on some points here, but I want to step back a little bit. We know that I think the question I want to ask is, what was your mindset like on race day? Because I think people need to know there are a lot of people who, when they're running track, they're nervous and a lot of things start to go through their head, and you know what I mean, and that can hamper their performance. So what was your mindset like, and did you have any routines or rituals before competing?
I have a lot of routines and I have a lot of rituals. In college, I have a thing over my bed that read, I can do all things through Christ who strengtheneth me. And I also used to, say the same thing when I line up to run. Now, to be nervous, it's natural. When you're nervous, it is natural. Adrenaline is flowing. So obviously, you don't want the adrenaline to go because that adrenaline give you that extra pump. You know what I mean? But you want to stay focused. Some people turn adrenaline into worrying. They're worrying about the race instead of focus and keep that adrenaline. So that's me. My
Mm.
mindset was always, hey, I don't care who is in the race. I'm gonna put it down today. Me and John Mair, when me and John Mair was two of the biggest rivals in Jamaica. Whenever me and John Mair going clash in the stadium, it's always something to see. And
Yeah,
we
so
were friends.
yeah, I just want to add, to the public that John Muir was supposed to be on. We know that he might be experiencing some challenges, but we'll
Difficulties.
try and get him
Right.
on. We try and get him on another time. So, how did you handle
Mhm.
pressure? Apart from you said that you always tell yourself that you can do all things and you are going to win today, right? But how did that? How what would you say about that when you're representing Jamaica?
Mhm. That's a mindset that only people that experience it can really speak to that because when you represent Jamaica, you're representing the country. You represent your country. So you're carrying the weight of doing well because you want to be recognized. You want your country to be proud. So when you go there and you put on that jersey that says Jamaica, you're carrying the whole Jamaica on your back because everybody is looking at you. Everybody wants you to win. You might not win, but you're gonna give it your best shot. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
I know the Jamaican public, they love when you win all the time. They don't like when you lose.
They don't like losers.
They don't like lose. They don't like losing. But what I mean, under the circumstances, we used to go out there and give it our best shot.
Hey, Mr. Wayne,
Yes,
since
sir.
you're there, a question that I want to ask. I don't want you to get too far without we touch this part of it.
Yes, yes.
You mentioned earlier where we see where the politics was there from way before probably you. And
Hmm.
in that, what I want to ask you, in the circumstances that an athlete who have trained for an entire season, put in his all and everything, especially to someone like you've been
Hmm.
giving it your all, but at the end of the day, you get scratched. Imagine you were
Right.
planning even to go to the Olympic, but all of a
Hmm.
sudden you get scratched from that list. You're no more gonna represent Jamaica when you hype up already. The community, as you said, is behind you. You have yourself
Right.
feel, you know, that yes, I have achieved this particular goal. And all of a sudden you get scratched. How does
It
an
was taken
athlete come
away.
back from such disappointment?
Man, I tell you this, man. It takes a lot of courage. It takes guts. A lot of people don't even come back from something like that. It's like they give up,
Mhm.
like they feel like the
Give
world
up.
is against them. But for me, I'm never a guy that give up. And I feel like when you push me down, I'm gonna get back up and fight again. And I always want to prove to you that I can do it. You know what I mean? If I don't make it, hey, I give it my best shot. I can always say, look, man, I give it my best shot. But yeah, it was a blow. It was a big blow for me. It happened in 1992 also. So,
Mhm.
and then I came back 93 with a bliss. You know, I decided, hey, I'm not going to be no photo finish with nobody. I'm going to make sure whatever position I'm I'm up in the middle or up in the front. So this time I was up in the front, so nobody could say, hey, this person beat you on the back or whatever it is. So, it is always a challenge, if you know what I mean. When it comes to Jamaica and sports, especially track and field, you 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 you're gonna go get some fights somewhere along the line because people they have their favorites. They always have their favorites and the people who they're going to look out for. And I think Dennis can tell you about all of that because we run during the same time.
Mhm. Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
one thing
I
I can, you know,
Go ahead. Go ahead, Wayne. Go ahead.
yeah, yeah. One thing I can say that when I was performing well, they used to look out for me. But as soon as you slow down, they just drop you like hot bread. You know what I mean? That's how they are. They don't help you and push you and help you to try to get up. They just leave you at the side of the road and leave you alone by yourself.
Right. And I think, Ian, I think this is a good segue into a particular thing that we have discussed it several times, right? I strongly believe that um, the Jamaica delegation has become so relaxed because they have such great pool of athletes. So what happens is that if you don't show up and if you don't perform well, they don't care, they don't worry about you because they have 10 more coming. So with that said, Wayne, in the news recently, we had this issue where few athletes have decided that they want to compete for another country. We know that money, monetary involvement and all that type of thing. What is it that you have to say about that? Do you think they should be patriotic, or do you think they should think about their family and take the money and migrate?
What I'm going to say about that is, yes, you can be patriotic, but being patriotic and left with nothing is a life choice. You have a life to live. You have a family to take care of. You have things to do. And if you realize that you're running for Jamaica and you're going out there performing every day, but at the end of the day, you have to end up working 9 to 5 to make a living. Sometimes the choice. when the choice presented itself, and I heard Osaka Powell said that the other day that in 2006 he got an offer to run for another country where he would have gotten millions, but because of being patriotic, he continued to run for Jamaica. Now Osaka was fortunate enough to make a lot of money otherwise than from Jamaica out of endorsements and stuff. I got the same offer in 1990 in Germany. I was offered to come and run for Germany, and they would have given me everything. And my coach, Dennis Johnson, talked me out of it. He said, "Man, look, you don't want to live in no Germany, it's all white people and whatever it is." And I end up coming to America. Later on in life, I look at it, I'm like, you know what? When I see other people do it, maybe I should have done the same thing.
Mm.
But, I don't have anything against these guys who go and run for other countries. Why? They're still Jamaicans at heart. They are still patriotic, but they have to make something for themselves, for their future. And if you stay and run for Jamaica, I can honestly tell you, Jamaica is not going to put anything in place for you. So you have a live it, something to live off when you finish with track and field.
So with that said, um, do you believe that, or maybe what are some of the suggestions that you probably would say Jamaica need to put in place that would encourage or motivate the athletes to stay? We know that money would be maybe number one thing, but is there any other thing that you think they need to put in place? Because I know that I foresee this as a domino effect where other athletes are probably looking for those type of opportunities, and they're going to come because Jamaican athletes are premium.
I they're going to have to do something to keep their athletes in Jamaica, especially the ones that are not at the top. Because Jamaica have this thing to the athletes that are at the top, that are winning, those are the ones all the attention is on. Now, the ones that are a little below, who work just as hard, but they're not fortunate enough to get to the top, they don't get any type of, you know, support, encouragement, anything like that. And what I do think and what they're putting in place right now that I can tell you, as my friend Leighton Levy told me, he said they said he spoke to them, and now he said they're trying to put things in place. The J3 is along with Jamaica, they are putting things in place, working with the government and also the private sectors to put things in place to provide some form of support system in place for the athlete and even to pay them to give them some form of stipend every month because these guys are out there training. They're not, most of them is not working. They don't have an income to take care of themselves or their family or whosoever they want to take care of. But it's like a job. And a lot of people don't realize that when you're out there training every day to represent your country, it's like a job. I hear somebody said when I read the things about Osafa, one person said, well, if you make figure no say I saw it will go, I'm never gonna find something else and do instead of run track. No,
That's
you you
ignorance.
you have that talent to run
Mhm.
for your country and and they gonna make comments like that. That is discouraging. But at the same time, I would encourage people not get discouraged about what the public said. You know your what you want. You know what your aims are. What you want to get out of this track and field, whatever you're doing.
Mhm.
You work
Yeah.
hard. If the private sector can come in play, because now I hear Grace Kennedy and Jamaica National Bank and all these people now are coming together to start to help athletes. You know what I mean? They're creating things like, putting up money aside for them, like in a trust fund, whatever it is. That's
Mhm.
some that when they retire and if they didn't reach far, but they put in their if you make the national team, that's what they're looking at. And a lot of people don't realize this. To make the Jamaica national team is an honor. It's a major accomplishment to make a national team. And it should mean something. You know
Mhm.
what I mean? It means you have cut above the class to get to the point where you make the national team. To be one of the best in your country is an honor. And it comes from hard work and dedication. And you should be rewarded for it.
Do you believe that this type of things that these things that they're working on to put in place to help the athletes? Do you believe it's too late?
It's too late, but it's better than nothing at all. It's too late because I heard Glenn Mills said something, and I think Mr. Mills should have looked into that long time ago. He has been around forever, and he
Forever.
knows.
Hmm.
He knows because
He knows.
Mr. Mills used to be the one that whispered to us and tell us a lot of the stuff that is going on.
Right.
He used to say, "Hey, you know such and such and such." He
Right. And
knows it.
I want to add too that not just Mr. Mills, even Frano knew exactly what is happening on the inside. And I strongly believe that they, they produce these athletes and they run fast and all that type of thing. But I still believe that they can do so much more to influence the decisions that are made by the JOA and the J3As. And first of
They
all,
can do.
I always said, and I'm going to say it again, I have no clue. I cannot understand what is the JOA purpose. I just don't get it. I just don't get the
I
JOA purpose
I
because
have no
if they have
clue.
a purpose,
All I know, they do not have a purpose because all I
they,
know, the GOA does they get on the plane with us when we used to travel, and they were in everything. But I have no clue what they do. They say they're
they,
managers, they're this. You know what I
and
mean?
they just go to the meetings. They just go
You
to the
know,
meetings and all that type. I need
Mr.
to
Mike.
know their purpose. As a matter of fact, Ian, we might need to write that down that we can try and get in touch with the president of the Jamaica Olympic Association and see if we can get him on this forum to have a conversation. Because we really need to.
Right.
What is your
We
purpose?
need, we need to. Yep. We need to
Yeah,
find
need
out.
some
You know?
clarity.
Yeah, we need some clarity.
Yes. I mean, when you have people like Mike Fennell, who was the president of Air Jamaica, all of them involved in GOA, and what was their purpose? I never understand that
I
either.
never. I still can't understand it. I mean, I can understand the J3A president purpose. You understand?
Right.
But I cannot understand the JOA purpose because that purpose to me serve no purpose.
They serve no purpose. And at the end of the day,
You
the
see,
J3 is
as the outsider, we and Dennis. But when me understand them purpose is that them get for carry on for them family and friends go to the Olympics and all over. Whereas
right.
you then just squeeze out one of your family member.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yep. At
And
whim's
and
You
and
can
that's one of the things. That's one of the things when you watch a United States team, they people past Olympians and people that run for America have
Mhm.
opportunities to go to to go to the meets. They a lot of them carry their families and they go there. They get tickets to go in. We can't do that. Jamaica
No.
would never even look at us if we show up at the meet. They say we can't help you
Right. We
after
go
you
into the
train
night.
so hard and represent your
I don't,
country for the longest time. Mhm.
well, I don't have a problem paying even when I go to the stadium to watch a track meet. But
Right.
I think just think on that low level that we have done so much for the country, have sacrificed so much, and if you go to the stadium and people know you, they're still charging you to come inside. Which again, I'm not looking for any
That's true.
handout, but
And we're not looking for handouts, but
yeah.
I must said, I went to the stadium one time a few years ago, and I was outside, and there's a grandstand, you know, already filled up, and I'm like, wow, really? And to my surprise, some of the police and the security guards recognized me, and they come out and say, hey man, this man is a living legend in the stadium. This man will get in, and they actually bring me in.
Mm,
They brought me in and they let me sit in the press box.
okay, good.
So I can honestly say they did something for me that time, which was and have me have me went down and hand out a few medals to the younger folks. Which to
Oh,
me that felt good.
yes,
I'm
yes,
not going to bash them all the time because when something, what I mean, my grandmother's always said, beat Caesar, but give them that is due to them.
yes, yes, yes. Um, all right, so we're gonna come back to training and discipline, right? Uh,
Yes.
Describe a typical training day during your peak years, right? What did it take to stay on top?
For me, during my peak years, I think for me, discipline is one of the number one things for me. During my truck years, you don't get me go to my bed get me up past 9 o'clock at night. Even when I live at the truck house at Cars, by 9 o'clock, everybody have to go out in bed because me go out of my bed, everybody stop talk because we ain't gonna sleep. You know, I was the guy that wake up every morning and wake up everybody to go to the stadium. So when it comes to discipline, I was the discipline guy there. You know what I
Mm,
mean? my training was a little different from them. My training
Mhm.
was a little more unorthodox because for them they like to do long runnings and whatever it is. Me, I like to just go to drills and high knees and plyometrics and stuff because I learned one thing from Dennis Johnson. You strengthen the muscles that you use to run. And that's what I do.
Okay, very good. What were the biggest sacrifices you had to make for say track and field?
When I don't think I really I was so much into track that I didn't think I sacrificed anything to do it because I put track first.
Mm,
You know what I mean? I
mm,
put track and school first. So in terms of sacrifice, what I remember back in 1987, all the guys was getting scholarship to come abroad, and Dennis Johnson look at me and tell me, "You don't have to go to America to run fast. You're right here with me, and I will make you run fast." I gave up. I gave that up. I would say I sacrificed coming in 1987 to a university here to stay in Jamaica and train, and it worked out well for me.
yeah. So, in your opinion, right? I know there, you know, again, I want to ask this question: what separates a good athlete from a great one? What is it that separates them? What's the difference between those two?
It all come back to where I said where you loving track and have a passion for track is two different things. To make a great athlete, you have to have the passion for the sport. In that sense, you will go above and beyond to reach where you want to go. And that's the difference. When you just love track, you don't do enough. When you just love the sport, you don't do enough just to compete. But when you
Mm,
have a passion, that's when you go above and beyond and make sure you have all the things in the right places to get to where you want to go. And that's a sacrifice you have to make to get to that point.
so let us look at it from a mental resilience or say motivation, right? What kept you going during those tough times when you have injuries or maybe losses or doubts? What is it that really kept you going?
Wanted to be the best. You want to be the best. So when you go and you get ready for a track event and unfortunately you get an injury. Something happened, you get a pull muscle or something.
Mm,
And you for a moment you're gonna be sad, you're gonna be unhappy. Man, I was ready to go, but whatever. And then you just regroup and say, you know what, I'm gonna get over this injury and I'm gonna get back in shape and I'm gonna go and do what I need to do. You know what I mean?
all right,
You
so,
you 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 don't fall down and stay down. You fall down and you get up by any means necessary and keep going.
and fall forward.
Yes.
So how important was your mental game, right? And how did you build that inner strength? Because talking about it is one thing, right? But doing it is another. What was it that really pushed you to have that inner strength? Is it the
Well,
hunger for success? Is it where you're coming from? Maybe your background.
yes, yes. Where I'm coming from a very poor family. I'm coming from nothing. And my intention is to get somewhere to be something. You know what I mean? Um, my grandparents was very poor. I grew up in the country with them. Things that other kids get to enjoy, I didn't have it. I couldn't get nice clothes, nice shoes like them. I couldn't do all of this. And I said to myself, I'm going to have to do something. You know what I mean? And that kept me going. That give me the drive. And when I see how hard my grandparents work to send me to school and to do things for me, I decide, man, look, I'm going to make something that one day I can take care of them without, them have to struggle anymore. And I did.
Fantastic. Was there a time you almost gave up? I mean, we know that they rob you, and we're just going to say it as it is. They rob you your opportunity for the Olympics twice. Um, it doesn't sound like at that time you wanted to give up, but is there a time that you almost gave up, and what is it that pull you back?
I never feel like I want to give up. I feel like I have something to prove. And every time that something happened, it gave me the inner strength. And that's something with me. I have this inner strength. I don't give up. I feel like, hey, nothing can stop me. You know what I
Mm,
mean? And it come right back to that verse that said, I can do all things through Christ
things.
who strengthens me. You know, when something happened and I fall, I went back to the drawing board and see what I did wrong. How can I change this for this not to happen again? I know if you remember, Mr. Blake, in college, we used to say this: the heights of great men which reach and
Reach
kept was not attained by sudden flight, but they, while their
really
companions slept,
slept
were toiling upward through the night.
through the night. Yes,
You
yes, yes,
understand? And
yes,
that's what
sir.
kept me going. I have to put all these little things in my brain.
Mm-hmm.
And failure for me was never an option. I feel I can always make it even when somebody say you can't. You know what I mean? I said that,
Nice.
you know, I know we're stretched for time, but I remember when I just went to UTech, our CAS back in the 1980s, in 85. There was a guy that running the character game, and he was at CAS at the time. He come from Stats. He had run in the character games, and he threw a jersey on me, a Jamaica jersey, and say, "Quilly B, take that. That's the closest you're going to get to running in a Jamaica jersey." And I threw it back to him. I said, "Look, I am not going to wear a Jamaica jersey that says Jamaica, and I'm not running for Jamaica." And boy,
Mm-hmm.
I asked him to laugh. Them laugh. Them say, "If you realize how fast the Jamaica team and them look, you really think you can make Jamaica team?" And in my brain, me say, "Is that right? You don't worry about me. I am going to work and make it." And a few years later, I was on the Jamaica team.
Okay,
When when people doubt me, hmm?
that's a brilliant segue into what I want to talk about, man. That you set it up really nice, right? Jamaica's track legacy and reflection. So we're going to look at that. Uh, we know that Jamaica is a powerhouse in sprinting, right? As a sprinter,
Right.
you can attest to that. So from your perspective, what fuels that greatness? What is it that fuels that greatness?
In Jamaica sprinting,
Yes.
it coming all the way from in the from, first of all, they said that the reason why we are so fast in Jamaica is because the tribe of us that came from, let's say, Ghana, I'm not sure, but that
Mm-hmm.
came from Africa, was we have that natural fast twitch muscles, fast twitch, whatever. So they say pound for pound, we have more sprinters than every other country in the world. And that is true. We have that talent. And if you notice from kids, you go to sports day, you see some little kids running so fast, you wonder, you know.
Mm-hmm.
And the history, the rich history. A lot of people wouldn't even go all the way back to 1944, 1948 when Herb McKinley, George Roden, Arthur Wint, and these guys were running. These guys were a force to reckon with in the world also. Back in the 50s and early 60s, it was Dennis Johnson. Dennis Johnson was the fastest man on the planet. He was the Usain Bolt of the 1960s and late 50s. When you come to the 1970s, you're talking about Lennox Miller, that Igna Miller daddy, 1972. A lot of people don't even know that. He was second in the 100 in the 1972 Olympics. Kelly White from the United States, her mother was a Jamaican sprinter in the 1972 Olympics that made the final. And you have Donald Quarry, you know what I mean? So we have a very rich history of sprinting. For some odd reason, we're not that great when it comes to the 800 and up,
Mm-hmm.
but we're born with those naturally fast muscles, fast twitch muscles.
So how have you seen the sports evolve in Jamaica over the years? Would you say from, I mean, you just give us a history, but just kind of give us a overview of how it evolved. Is it because of the level of coaches being educated? Um, is it the hunger for success? What is it in your view?
In my view, is the support. The support is what helped these athletes more. In our days, we didn't get that kind of support and
Mm,
help, outside help. Even when I go to my whole school at UTech and see the kind of support that people like Osaf and Shelley and Fraser them and whatever have up there, we didn't have that kind of support back in the day.
mm,
In nowadays, people would think we have some of the best support. We go up there, we eat, we drink one bowl of cornmeal porridge for the whole day, and that's what we drink, and that's what we run on. And then the next day we eat some rice and baked bean, and that's what we run on. But these guys know they have support. They get sponsors,
mm,
and the kind of sponsorship that they get, it helps a lot to keep their focus. All they need to do is run. Nowadays we have to think about how to get food, where we're going, how we're going to get money to go do this, how we're going to get money, whatever it is. These guys don't have to worry about that.
mm. Yeah.
They got a support line.
So, what is it that you think that today's athletes, what is it that they can learn from our generation, from your generation, or my generation?
From our generation, they can learn. I don't think they want to learn from our generation, but from if they want if they want to learn, if they want to learn anything, they can look at us that we perform at our best under the circumstances. We didn't have the kind of support they have, but we perform to our best. You know what I
Hmm.
mean?
Hmm.
We do the best with what we have.
So, we're going to segue into life after competition, right? And in
Hmm.
terms of giving back, what was the transition like from being an elite athlete to life after competition? Because I know transition is one of the toughest things, especially for we know we're talking about track and field, but we know that there's a lot of stories about NFL players who are
Right.
transitioning. And so, yeah, talk to us on that.
It's a tough transition. After you get so used to the track and field life, traveling the world, having fun, living some of the best lives, and then you have to come back and back down to zero. It's a hard transition. You have to start work from 9 to 5 to make a living. You know what I mean? Um, a lot of us make a lot of mistakes in our lives. When we could have done something different, we do stupid things. When we make a little money, we use it chase women, we use it do all kind of stupid stuff. And at the end of the day, you realize that, you know, that was stupid.
Mm,
Some of the guys you call them mean, them did mean. But at the end of the day, you know what happened? They put their money to good use. They invest. They do things for a future. Some of us do stupid things and you know fell by the wayside. But just the same way, like track and field, like I said, when I fall down, I get up and keep going. I'm not going to stop.
okay, all right. So we know we can press for time here, but in a brief synopsis, what lesson from athletics do you carry into your everyday life now?
I carry everything. First of all, athletics, track and field teach me discipline. You know what I mean? And
Hmm.
and I use almost everything that I do have to do some association with me as a runner. You know what I mean? I It prepares you. It prepares you for life after. You know what I mean? You're gonna meet up on rough times. Just like when you're in track and field, you're gonna meet up on rough times. But like I said, you fall and you get up and you go because you can't stop.
Hmm.
And
All
that's where
right.
your strength comes from. You have to go and the inner strength. You got to pull out the inner strength. For me, I retired too early, and my problem was my weight problem. And when I
Mm,
look back at it today, maybe should have found a different venue or something and get some different type of training, but I get too comfortable where I was. and
Mhm.
I just couldn't make a comeback.
So, when you look back on your journey, what is it that you would say you're most proud of?
What in track and field, what I'm most proud of, as much as I made the Jamaica team so many times, what I am more proud of was when we formed that Bolts of Lightning team. The
Hmm.
Bolts of Lightning was the highlight of our track career.
I don't
And
think, I really don't think Bulls of Lighting, um, the name and the people behind it, get the recognition it truly deserve, because I believe, like you said, you guys were the first 4x1 team to run under 40 seconds. And
right.
I don't think the recognition, and I don't, and again, where's the J trays in this? You know what I mean? I don't
Well,
think that well, you can correct me if I'm wrong, but you know.
that's where they fail again. The J3s fail on that because I remember a few years ago they invited us down. They want the Bolts of Lightning to come down. They want to honor us in front of Jamaica. They want to give us honor. And during the same time that what's his name, Prince William or Prince or whatever he was in Jamaica at the time. You remember when he was
Mhm.
down there and run with
Mhm.
Usain Bolt? We were
Yeah.
supposed to come down to get honored at that time. No, they told us that they're going to bring us down and put us up in hotels and take care of everything,
Oh
whatever it
no.
is. We
Mm-mm.
were all happy and say, okay, that sounds good. We're gonna come down. Then they're gonna come back and tell we say, hey, we gotta find our way and they will pay us back. And I'm like, no, that sounds like Gina Ship from we used to run and them
Mhm.
tell me that
Yeah.
come
Yeah.
pay your money and you come and then we pay you back and they never pay you back.
Yes. Hmm.
So they actually were going to try to honor the Bolts of Lightning team in front of Jamaica because Edward Siaga was asking for that too. And I would say, all right. But at the end of the day, it never happened because they said we're gonna have to pay our own plane ticket and hotel, and then they will refund us. And we never hope to that.
All right. So, what's one lesson you wish every athlete could understand early on?
One lesson that they need to know early on is that you're on your own. You're on your own. You're gonna have to fight. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
No, for real.
Mhm.
You're going to learn that. No, if you get the support, that is good. But you have to think it to yourself and say, you know what? I'm on a journey on my own. I might not have support, but I'm going to go. And that's one lesson they need to learn and understand because they don't have your back. You know what I mean? You get a injury, they drop you. You know what I mean?
Right. Because they have such a big pool to pull from, so
They have a big pool to pull from, so they don't care what
they don't
what happened to you. They just push you to the side and say, "Hey, you're a bug. Go on."
care. All right. So we're coming on to the last few questions. Who is it that you would say inspire you the most throughout your career, or perhaps whether they're on or off the track? And I'm almost certain I know who that is.
Well, you know who that is. But my number one inspiration came from my grandmother,
Oh,
most of
okay,
all.
okay, okay.
My
That's not who.
grandmother
That's
was
not who I
my
was thinking.
right. But my grandmother was the biggest inspiration in my life. Everything I do it because my grandmother said. You know what I mean?
Mm, mm.
Right.
All right. What's one Jamaican value, right? Or I would say maybe mindset that has
Mhm.
stayed with you your whole life?
Little Betalawa,
Little bit of Italo. Yes, yes, yes.
nothing
What's
can
next?
stop me.
What's next for Wayne Watson? Any goals, any projects or
You
passion
know,
you're working on?
y- well, right now, we have a business and we're trying to expand on our business, trying to get it to a point where we can open a lot more business around. We have a grocery store called Yadi Caribbean Groceries.
Hmm.
We want to do more in different areas
Areas.
and
Hmm.
expand like franchises. So
Fantastic.
that's what my next goal is right now.
Nice. All right, Wayne, I want to take this opportunity to say thank you. I appreciate you. I appreciate what you have said, and I'm sure that this is not going to be the last interview, because sometimes there are topics that are going to come up that we are going to invite you back here on Real Talk, Real Money with Ian and Dennis. Thank you.
All right. Thank you, brother. Ian, thank you, bro.
Yes, man. Thanks for coming on here and unpacking so much. And I just want to say, in summary, the fact that I told Dennis earlier that I was pretty tired tonight, so he should take it away. And I'm really proud of Dennis the way he handled it tonight. I was just here
Right,
though,
right,
listening, and as I listen along, I realized there's so much that is needed within the Jamaica um track and field um program. And
right. And
from what
we
you
have to
guys
bring it to the
have been,
forefront.
yeah, from what you guys have been seeing, we could have missed probably one of our best talent and don't even know because of
Right.
the fact that they were never given the support. I heard where you
Hmm.
said, somebody just probably just to get training. So you left high school then and you now go to school just to get back to the training. It
Right.
is a cost. And if there's no support, then what happened to that athlete? They get lost along the way.
Mm,
So
Man
many
like
of them.
you get scratched from the list, and that is disappointment, and that could just tarnish a person and just
Hmm.
mentally him out of it, and I mean just pack it up, call it a day.
Right.
Another thing is just afford playing fair, and you can get back
Hmm.
to a trial. And Daniel England spoke about that in one of the interview. And you can't get back, so you won't be able to represent your country, and probably you're the fastest man over that distance.
Right.
You're still not able to
Hmm.
represent. So
Definitely.
from listening to you guys, I realized that there's so much to be done, and I think Dennis got it right. We have to bring on these people who are trusted with our athletes in terms of the
Hmm.
preparation, the management of them, and everything, and they have to be held accountable.
accountable. Yes.
Accountable.
You know,
We need to hold them accountable too. Hmm.
yeah. If we don't hold them accountable, I think this is gonna continue to happen. We're gonna continue to lose some of our top athletes. It's hard to see. For me, it is heart rendering, aching, everything. You hurt me to my belly. When me see with top
Hmm.
athletes then, especially those in the field event, we know them get the least support. And we know
Right.
we have
Hmm.
medalists, medaling for Jamaica, and at the end of the day, them a pack them bag and walk.
Wow.
Cause guess what?
Hmm.
Something better over there. So,
Yes.
Something
you
better is
guys
out
have
there.
nothing to
Right.
offer me. I listen to you and Dennis, and over the years, other than the medal, it seems like there's not much to show. You know,
There's not much. Nothing.
Nothing.
Nothing otherwise. Some you
Not,
go there and work hard and think
not
there's nothing
absolutely
else
not.
to show.
Nothing, man.
you can bet some of them medal they rusty and from Bolton, Dark Rust, some over the years. So it, 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 it is a tough one. You know, say, don't go represent the other country or the other government. We give you some more money. The program
Yes.
it's hard.
Hmm.
So, as we said, there's a lot to unpack, and there's a lot more,
Yes.
and that's why we
Yes.
have a program like this. Real talk
Hmm.
with Dennis and Ian. Mr. Wayne, we want to thank you. And if you have any last word to say, this is the moment to before we bring you back on because there's so much that Dennis has touched.
Yes.
No,
Yes. 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 Eh, well, as long as I have the time, and I will be on real talk, man. As long
yeah,
as I find the time, I will be on real talk because there are a lot of things that we can bring to the forefront, and I mean, get them on their knees, man. Let them go to work.
yeah. Every professional athlete that run for Jamaica have a story, and their story
And
is,
and
and it's not the best
uh,
story.
it's not the best story. And do you realize, especially when Osaka came out with that thing the other day, the people who have never run for Jamaica are the ones that making all the worst criticism. They
Yeah,
have no clue what
they have.
we who wear the color and go there and run for Jamaica went through. They don't know. They don't
Yeah,
they don't start to criticize. Oh, why you never do this? You never go to that. Why you never go to that? You know what I mean?
yeah.
So
Empty barrel make the most noise, man.
I appreciate all the former athletes who come forward and make it known that we are all unhappy.
Yes. Tell
And if
Michael
there's anything
Green
that we can do. Oh, Michael Green knew. You want me to get him too?
I want Michael Green on this program,
I
please.
will get him. I will
Yes.
get him.
Yeah. Thank you again, Wayne. Appreciate you, man.
All right, brother. You
All
guys
right.
have a wonderful evening, man. And nice
You,
talking to you guys.
Same here. Take care.
All right.